Yes, this is Tactical Red, and you're Tactical United, and this video is United's issues. As everyone knows that we've lost, drew 0-0 again against Chelsea, and it was a ball fest of a game, as I've already talked about in my previous video. But this video is about United's issues, and the United's issues are based on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, let's go through the first segment. Wasted cash. Now, let's go through it. We have spent 372 million. Now, you tell me if you can name 3 players that have been worth signing. I can tell you one. I mean, you all know who he is, but what about the rest? Maguire, Wan-Bissaka's 50. Bissaka was okay, but 50 million. Could have done a lot better for that money. You know, you could have spent that money a lot more wisely. You know, but for me, the worst of the worst is, like, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signed Van de Beek and Diallo for an excess of 75 million pounds, and we are not utilising 2 players that we spent 75 million pounds on. Now, this is a waste of budget. This is a waste of transfer budget, and yeah, it's a waste of money. We've been wasting money on these players. Van de Beek, why sign Van de Beek in the first place? Why sign him when you know that he is not going to play in your team? Okay, you want him on the bench, fine, but you don't even utilise him hardly anyway. You keep McTominay and Fred. Why don't you buy someone better than McTominay and Fred, in your opinion, and then bench McTominay or Fred? But you decide to buy a backup to McTominay and Fred because you believe they're good enough when they are not. Errors upon errors. Diallo, 35 million, wasted. Could have bought a centre back, could have bought a holding midfielder like Zakaria or something, but you decide to buy a winger that you're not going to use now, and he may not be good enough for the future. So why have we wasted money on that? Issues. United issues. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer issues. He only does things. He only says things. He only does things. He only acts in a way, and you know why? It's self-preservation. There is zero care for Manchester United. He cares about himself. He cares about what people think about him. He doesn't care about Manchester United as a club being progressive and winning titles. He cares about keeping his job for reasons that I'm completely unaware about, because you're going to ultimately lose your job if you have this type of mentality. But he only cares about United. He only cares about himself. Example. We play against Chelsea. We can win a game against Liverpool. We can win games against Manchester City in December, against Arsenal in January, against Chelsea again early in the season. But we decide to play defensive. When a game can be taken to a team, we decide to hold on to what we have and play counter-attacking football. This is because he doesn't want to lose games, because after the 6-1 he felt like a muppet, and he doesn't want to feel like a muppet and have that type of pressure on him, because that type of pressure puts pressure on his job, and in his eyes, not losing heavily or not losing at all maintains his position. Now, he wants to be a Manchester United manager but not trying to win trophies. He's clearly incapable of winning trophies because he's lost 4 semi-finals in a row. This is what you call self-preservation. He makes so many so many mistakes in the terms of being loyal for no reason and trying to keep his job. Do you know why? Also, to protect. He spent 85 million on Maguire, on Jacob Maguire. Yeah, Jacob Maguire. He spent that amount of money. No, sorry, Harry Maguire. His first name is Jacob. Let's not forget. 85 million on him. Then he plays him every game and made him captain to justify the fact that he spent 85 million pounds on him. Now, what's happened now in the future? Our defense is a shambles. So what he does, because what he's doing is justifying to Ed Moneybags Woodward that he spent money well spent. He spent well, but he hasn't, because he's utilising Fred and McTominay to protect Maguire mainly. It's not even Lindelof or Bay. It's to protect Maguire. Solely to protect Maguire. Yeah, solely to protect Maguire. Because, and this is why he's protecting his job, because if our defensive record looks good, he can say to the board, who don't know anything about football, well, we haven't conceded any goals because I bought Harry Maguire. But this season, he can't say shit because our defence has been the reason why we are what we are. And Harry Maguire plays every game. And when Harry Maguire, when Lindelof or Harry Maguire don't play, we play better. So clearly, it's them. Keeping people with the United DNA around. Do you know why? It's self-preservation as well. Do you know why? Because it's harder for the board to sack people like Mick Phelan and Michael Carrick and Kieran McKenna, who have been at the club. So to sack them, it's a lot harder than to sack some and they have to sack them with Ollie, remember? And it's a lot harder to sack all these types of ex-Man United under 18 bloody coaches and stuff, that all know Fergie, it's hard to sack them than it is to sack some foreign coaches who are with Ollie that have no connection with the club. And I believe Ollie knows that, and that's why he employs people like Darren Fletcher too, because he knows these people will protect his job rather than make us play better. He knows this. And also, he's being loyal to players. Loyal to players that produce effort. Because if you find a player that produces skill, he cannot get the best out of players that produce skill. So he rather likes, like he said in the post-match interview, like Dan James had an amazing game, and his words were because he was closing down and tracking back. Like that's the levels of, that's what Ollie wants players to do, close down and track back. And because Dan James killed himself to do that, because that's all he can do, that's what he wants, because he wants to again justify spending 15 million for Dan James. But I believe, I genuinely believe, I don't know with Van der Beek and Diallo. I don't know if they're Ollie signings, or I don't know, like, because all of his signings that he signed, he gives all the chances to. But Van der Beek and Diallo, he's not really trying to play these guys. He's not trying to play these guys. He's not. So are they his signings? And ultimately, if they're not his signings, then he's been overruled and he has no control. And Ed Woodward will not sign these types of players. So who is? That's the question. Who is? Because Ed Woodward has no clue. So who is signing these types of players? Who is signing Van der Beek? Was it just came across, Van der Sar offered him Van der Beek and then he took it? Was it like that? I don't know. But the players that he likes, like Fred, McTominay, Dan James, they're just not good enough. Another United issue, unable to change tactically in games. Unable to do it. Unable to understand when to change tactically in games. Unable. unable. It's frustrating because it happens every game. One substitution, Rashford, Martial, and he doesn't take off, and also doesn't take off certain players that need to come off. Actually, let me rephrase that. Doesn't take off Rashford when he needs to come off, because Rashford is inconsistent, but he still plays every minute of every game. Doesn't take him off. I think he's taken him off once. I've seen since he started. I think he's only taken Rashford off once when he's had a shit game. Only once. One game. It's madness. It's madness. Tactically, when he makes changes, it's like for like. He never changes the system. Never goes for games. It's just average. He's just an average manager. He's more than average. He's below average. He's not even average. You know, he's getting minus E's and D's constantly. If this was Jesus, he's what the fuck they do now. McTominay and Fred in that midfield are the biggest issue. More issue. It's bigger an issue than the defense. Believe me. People talk about the defense, but for me, it's the midfield that is the issue. We don't keep the ball. We don't keep the ball. We don't utilize the ball right. We don't move the ball right. We just have these two runners, energizers, bunny. You know, people talk about letting Scott be attacking, but Scott can't pass. Like, you can't be a midfielder if you can't pass. You can't be an attacking midfielder if you can't pass. He can't pass and he can't tackle, and he can't read the game. All he can do is header and shoot. Like, he's limited. He's quick on the ground. I give him that, but he's limited. They're just two quick midfielders who run around, but they are nothing midfielders. They don't do anything. Both, you know, Fred never scores. Fred can't pass. Fred is small. Fred can't tackle really. He can't read the game that well, and he tries to close down and he rushes too much. He loses his head. Big issue. We don't keep the ball because of them. We play all them in the big games, and then we wonder why we don't win. Play Pogba and play Van der Beek. Play one of them. Play Matic. Have some control in the game. Stop being a pussy and trying to defend and just relying on people that are just energizer bunnies because, you know, when you know, they're just energizer bunnies. You just like them because they do what they tell you, but they don't do anything special. They do what you tell them, but they don't do nothing special, should I say. No fluidity in the attack. When we attack with counter-attack, and when we're trying to break down a team, we don't know how to do it. We have nothing in our attack. Our attack is non-existent. Non-existent attack. I think Martial, another reason why he's not producing this season. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's been good. And, you know, I think he has an attitude problem. I think he's scared of fighting for his position. But I would say another reason why he hasn't been doing good this season is because he's burnt out. Because last season he had to do so much to score those goals, and he can't reproduce it this season. He can't do it. The main thing is that it's not entertaining. I'm not really entertaining watching Man United. I'm not really entertained anymore. I'm watching the game. I'm bored. I'm bored watching Manchester United. I'm bored watching Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's football. When we have attacking players, when we have players with flair, and we still can't produce. At least under Van Gaal, we had no players. And then the first season, it was an attacking team. Di Maria and all them, man. Second season, he dotted them all, and brought in Depay and Martial. And, you know, really was old, and got rid of Van Persie, and you know, it just wasn't the same. But he had no players. Mourinho, you know, he had decent players and played okay football, but Mourinho doesn't play good football. Oli, we actually have flair players, we have attacking players, we have good players, we have players that can score, dangerous players, but we have no fluidity, and our attack is not entertaining, our football is not entertaining. Oli doesn't create teams and formations that are entertaining. That it's just boring most of the time. You have the odd good game like 9-0 and that, you know, the odd good game, but it's not very often. Like, another thing is, how many moments has Oli brought to the fans? Like, how many moments can you say, like, you can remember with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? PSG, and he wasn't even the real manager then. Since then, what has he done? What moments has he brought us? What feelings has Oli given us, Manchester United fans? He's given us nothing. We don't have any feelings. We just like, oh, we're second. Oh, Like we beat Man City, 2-1 a couple of seasons last season, and then beat them 2-0 last game of the fans. Like that's about it. Beating City. Is that all he's given us? Beating City and beating PSG. Nothing else. Ultimately, Ollie's too emotional. He has emotional connection with players. That's why he plays them more than certain other players. He's not clinical enough, and he's not strong enough. He's not a leader to be. He's not a leader. He doesn't lead the team. He doesn't feel like a leader. He tries to shout and bark, but no one really respects him because he has no footballing IQ. He doesn't really know what he's doing. Like, you know, he complains about penalties and stuff that, you know, that he's basically whole career is based on penalties. His whole Man United career has been based on penalties, and if he doesn't get penalties, he doesn't win games, like big games. So, you know, even look at the PSG game was like a mistake, 2 mistakes and a penalty in that PSG game that he got the job. 2 mistakes and a fucking penalty. That's why he got the job. Let's just keep it real. He's not that guy, and he never will be that guy, and we are wasting our time focusing on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And he doesn't have any expectation levels to win the league. He doesn't have any. He says this and says that, but his actions speak louder. The way he plays is what I watch. I don't listen to his words anymore because his words are meaningless. And when I look at the teams and how he sets up, he doesn't want to win trophies. He doesn't want to win big games. And if you don't win big games, you don't win trophies. It's as simple as that. And he has zero expectation level. What he expects to do is to do well, not win. He just wants to do well. You know, it's all about doing well, not winning. And he thinks that's good enough to be Manchester United manager, even though he's played under a manager who was driven to win. He has no drive. That's why he was a sub, because he has no drive. And when you look at people like that who have no drive, they shouldn't be in the manager's seat. He had no drive as a player because he was happy to be on a bench. What do we expect from a manager? I'm Tactical Red. I've broke it down. If you don't believe me, you can't. You can't not believe what I'm saying. You're just gonna be a passionista fan who thinks that it's all about supporting the team. Good luck with that. I'm out.